The stream is the thing. We're playing Night Slashers. I was going to play some Neo Geo games tonight, but, you know, I bought a second Neo Geo board after the first one didn't work from eBay. And it didn't work either. So I'm now 2 for 2. I got 2 lemons. Lemon's not really accurate, I guess, because a lemon implies that it's, like, new and it's bad from the time that you know, that you kind of got it. You know, but who knows? It's bad is the point, whether it's actually a lemon or not. It's no bueno. So my trusty arcade stick here, and I've got Night Slashers on the Switch here, and so there are 3 characters you can play as in this game. That's going to be loud, because that's actually... I'm going to try to move this a little bit more towards me. I'm going to put it right in my face here, because... you're going to hear a lot of me hitting the buttons on this arcade stick. So this is a horror-themed brawler where monsters and zombies have sort of taken over the world, basically. And there are 3 characters you can play as, and I'll spend some time with all 3. I started with the girl because I wasn't paying attention and the timer ran out. My main person is generally Christopher, who is sort of like if Bruce Lee and Peter Cushing were the same person. Is sort of the goal there. So you can charge up a shield, you can throw. This game doesn't have the most complex you know, a set of controls, or, well, it has a very decidedly not complex set of controls, but it doesn't have the most complex variety in attacks, but it's got more than your very basic beat-em-ups. Like I said, you've got a kind of a charge that you can use to get a shield. He's your classic mad scientist. The only thing that's going to need transforming is your face when I get through with it. I totally ate that hot dog. That's nonsense. So you've got you've got an A and B special. That was the spin kick, and then you've got a special screen clearing attack as well that costs you some health. And like I said, you can throw. You get a couple of combos. She uses, I don't know what you call those wards that are part of, I think, largely Chinese or Buddhist mythology. Zangetsu's covered with them, and Bloodstained. You've got a charge attack, right? And I think I mentioned that. I don't remember if that acts as a shield. I thought it did, but maybe it doesn't. But this is also giving me a chance to kind of gripe about the Johnny Turbo Arcade line of games that are out here. So this is Data East has a deal with Flying Tiger, which is John Bransetter's current company. And you know, there are some things to like about John Bransetter and kind of what he's done in the past, and certainly the lengths he went to for the PC Engine in the day, and he was an integral part of TTI. But these are not given what I would consider to be a super loving presentation. So, first of all, I don't know if this is available in Japan or not, but I do know that the US version, you only get access to the US ROM. And there actually are differences. The Japanese ROM, some of the attack animations are different, some of the that kind of stuff, like Christopher, who, as I said, is sort of, Bruce Lee meets Peter Cushing. So she puts those sort of those wards or whatever that I mentioned before, those pieces of paper that I think they have prayers written on them, because I think she's supposed to be Chinese. But Christopher, in the Japanese version, he pulls out a crucifix as his sort of the final blow of his attack. He pulls out a crucifix, and in the American version, it was changed to like a crystal, and that kind of stuff. So there are some changes here, and of course we've got Dracula, because got to. You'll never stop us, demon. So the only ROM you have access to is the American version, which is, a little, like I said, a little frustrating. Mostly just based on the treatment. There was a time when, there's still, we're kind of lucky that this got an official release that's easily playable, that you don't have to, get MAME and find a working ROM set and everything. So, there's definitely value in that, but compared to, other, compared to other arcade options, that are out there, especially stuff from, folks like Hamster and M2, more Hamster, because M2's arcade stuff, so now we're gonna play as Christopher here. So during this little set piece where you're chasing the spectral carriage, you just kind of use your charge move. See, there's the crystal, but in the Japanese version, that's a cross, not a little gem. Throw your head at me, I will kick it right back at you. But the best thing about Christopher, wow, that just took like half my health. Come here, evil Geppetto. The best thing about Christopher is that one of his throws... Come on. Yeah, I will holy water the hell out of you. Yep. What? I grabbed him. I keep accidentally doing my crowd control because every time I get grabbed, come on. It's more than a little frustrating when the enemies can also grab you. Boom! DDT. There are not a lot of games where you can DDT zombies, and, I think there's a lot of value in that. Also, there's some really intricate death animations for the enemies in this game, which is very excellent, as I'm sure you've noticed. Sometimes their heads get kicked off. Sometimes they just, like, melt into a pile of guts. Okay, well, so I'll show you Jake, I think it is the American. They all have different food tastes, too. Like, the different food items give each character back a different amount of health. Like, that was a great death animation. Werewolf just, like, fell apart, right?
Yeah, take that, werewolf.
Yeah. So, Eric, not much. I was just explaining some stuff about Night Slashers and how the version that we have access to is like not handled at the same level of care as I don't think you'll be doing any crushing today. Is not to the same level of what Hamster does. I don't think it's fair to compare it to M2 because M2's arcade releases especially are... Look at that German suplex. I just got powerbombed by a rock man. You know, M2's arcade games, like their shoot 'em up reissues, like they're handled with such care, and that they have come at a premium price. Like I think I paid $30 or $40 for Dangun Feveron. So I don't know that it's necessarily fair to compare an $8 download to a $40, $30 download that's got like new mechanics and different modes and new scorekeeping mechanics and a bunch of stuff added to it that, you know, did not exist in the original arcade version. But I think it's perfectly fair to hold Johnny Turbo's arcade to the same standard as Hamster, and the fact that no matter what I do, like I supposedly have all the visual effects off, but it is very clear that the sort of default MAME softening filter or equivalent can't be turned off, and that's super aggravating.
Pixels are not raw enough for my eyes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I do like the whack-a-mole bonus game where I just like step on zombie heads though. Yeah, and like you can apply scan lines and you can do different type of like video filters, like composite and VCR and like, you know, stuff that's all kind of fun, and it rounds the image a little bit, and that's fun. But if I want it, like the way I like to play is, we've talked about this a million times before, but I hate the fake scan lines. I want, the sharp pixels. I want them dug directly into my eyeballs, and I don't have the option to do that on this game, which is frustrating. And I don't have the option to boot the Japanese ROM to see the graphical differences and other stuff like that. And yeah, it's just a little frustrating. I recognize that it is a budget title for sure, and the fact that again that someone even bothered releasing this like pretty obscure arcade brawler from like 1991 on the Switch is like pretty cool, but you know, I would like a Hamster level of care applied to that, and you just don't get that with the... I only have 2 of the Johnny Turbo arcade releases. I have this and Super Burger Time, and man, the death animations in this game are so good. You know, but the Johnny Turbo arcade are not exactly feature laden, so I would say make sure it's something that you're really into or you think is really interesting before you throw the money down, because especially if you have some of the stuff that Hamster has put out there, you're probably going to be a little disappointed. But yeah, I vented a little bit, but now that you're here, I can vent directly to you. I got another Neo Geo board that didn't work. Different problem than the first one.
What's wrong with that one?
So it locks at a green screen when you power it on, even if there's not a game in it, which is apparently... There's like a quartz crystal on the board that's like a timing related thing, and it can go bad. Some people I saw some message board threads that were like, oh, well, sometimes the battery, I'll DDT that axe murderer. The watch battery that's on the board that keeps track of like the high scores, like if that's old and corroded, like it can pop, and then if it leaks onto the board, that can cause. But the battery has not leaked onto the board, but it is definitely still doing this like green screen only thing. Yeah, that seems like the crystal is bad. And what's super frustrating about it is I specifically bought from a US seller who specifically advertised it as like new, tested and working. And I'm like, if you, like, very clearly you did not test this. Like, you're lying. Because if you tested it, you
a
would...
couple years ago, you know?
Yeah, right. It was working 3 years ago.
Right. It probably worked in 1997.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. But it ain't 1997, as I have to tell myself every morning when I get up and go to work. It ain't 1997 anymore. But, you know, it's frustrating. And then when I do the return, or sorry, first I messaged the seller to be like, hey, this board is not working, so clearly you did not test it. Can I get one that is working? And he sends me this email asking me for a bunch, like, oh, can you do this and that, and can you, get some video of it not working because I need to talk to my distributor before I can replace it. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, can you take a photo of the packing label that was on it when I sent it to you? And I'm like, dude, no, I'm if you're not going to help me out, I'm just going to go to eBay and hit the return thing on, like, that eBay provides. And if you give me any guff about it, then I'm just going to file a dispute with PayPal. Because, like, I ain't doing this.
You shouldn't have to, when you buy something from someone, you shouldn't have to then do a whole bunch of work to make the thing work.
Right. And that's what
You shouldn't have to do a bunch of work to get it replaced or returned or whatever.
Right, and that's what I said something in the Smoke Monster Discord, which I realized my mistake was not just, like, asking people I knew, or even just tangentially knew, like, hey, does anybody have one of these they want to sell?
Yeah.
Because now I'm talking to a couple people on the Smoke Monster Discord who are like, oh yeah, I've got a spare one. I'm like, okay, I don't know why I didn't just talk to you guys first. Should have done that, but it's so aggravating to have
Is this
to...
the same person you bought the other one?
No, this is different person, different problem, same board style. But yeah, just like...
Sucks. I mean, it's like, there is to be expected that shit can go bad with old hardware or whatever, but...
Well, sure, my gripe is not necessarily... Right,
then
right.
it probably should work. And then when it doesn't work, you probably shouldn't have to take video of it.
Right, especially since I sent a photograph and, like, it doesn't do... It locks at a certain screen and doesn't move. So it's like, no, man, like, I don't need to send you video because the video would look just like this photograph because it doesn't do anything. And it's just like, again, you put this in an auction and listed it as like new, and that it was tested and working. Now, I understand they don't actually make these new anymore, but if I was buying, like, an actual game, and you said like new, that means a certain thing. Like new means a certain thing. And...
It means that
even
it's in good working condition.
Right, even just like picking it up and touching it, like it wasn't. Well, also it means clean, right? Like new. When you get a thing that's new, it's clean, and this thing had like a layer of grime on it, and this kind of stuff. And I'm like, and also these people send them. It was sent the same way as the last person. I mean, maybe it is the same person with a different eBay account. Who knows? But it was sent the same way, which is they like wrap it in bubble wrap and basically put it in like a black, like, Glad garbage bag. And that's it. Like, it's not in a box or anything. And it's just like, you're obviously doing this on the cheap. You're stripping these from cabinets in China, I'm sure. Like, or Hong Kong or Taiwan or whatever. Like, if you say you tested it, then actually test it. I mean, if you're going to sell it, I would have bought it for $20 as is and had somebody fix it for me if you wanted to do that. But you didn't want to do that. You wanted to say that you tested it and it's like new and it's working. And it's not. You know, and then, that was the thing, is like, well, we have to show our distributor or whatever. I'm like, you're an eBay store, man. If you got a distributor, that's your problem, not mine. You know, we got to show our distributor that doesn't work.
You'll
like,
send it back to him, and then,
well, right, yeah. But I'm like, if you have,
work, so you can do that,
right? If you have the equipment to test this, as you told me it was tested, then you can show it doesn't work. Unless what you're saying is you don't actually have a Neo Geo MVS cabinet that you test these on. You know,
I found a box of them at a flea market. And,
right. You know, it's just so aggravating. And I mean, I've definitely, you know, bought things that have had problems before. I've had issues with eBay sellers before, but like, it is rare that I have bought the same thing twice from two different sellers and gotten two problems. I don't think that's ever happened before, that I've bought two of the same item, you know, after having one that didn't work, and then the second one didn't work too. You know, that's just, it's ridiculous. And again, I understand that when you're buying vintage technology, there's the chance that it's not going to work, but then sell it as is. Don't sell it as working and tested when it's not. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. A couple, like I said, a couple folks on the Smoke Monster Discord are like, "Oh yeah, I might be able to help you out." So, you know, we'll go that route. See what we get, and hopefully I'll get it a little faster this time, and it'll actually be packed like in a box. I like that the implication there was that I was fighting that vampire, Dracula, until like we were duking it out on the roof of the castle until the sun came up, and it wasn't me that killed him; it was the sun that
ultimately did
melted him. Yeah,
you just have to live. You just have to survive long enough for him to be time copped.
Yep. Yeah, right. Punch him enough times to get him to stay out until sunrise.
So who's the ultimate bad guy that the Night Slashers are going after?
I don't. It's some like weird extra dimensional god or something. It turns out at the end, because as you just saw, you kind of get the sense in the beginning that it's Dracula. Mm-hmm. But then now I just killed Dracula already.
Killed Dracula and you're still fighting.
Yeah, I killed Dracula and I'm still giving DDTs to zombies and axe murderers. So, you know. Jesus. These arcade brawlers, man, they just throw a million dudes at you. Oops. Did not want to throw that knife that way. You think you can beat me? I really love old voice samples in games of this era, because they always have a certain amount of like weird like low sample quality, you know, and like
sample rate distortion.
Yeah, and a lot of times it sounds like it's a person with a Japanese accent speaking English, like not like a cartoonish, like, you know, some racist person making fun of a Japanese person, but like a Japanese person who speaks okay English, like trying very hard to not sound like a Japanese person. And there's like a certain charm to that, I feel like. I feel like I don't use the charge attack enough, but I think part of that is because the charging takes... Oh, I got speared! There's a lot of wrestling moves in this.
You're about to get jackhammered.
Not today. Yeah, I was saying before, right before you got here, that his... So they all have this sort of like this combo finisher. The girl who's supposed to be Chinese, she pulls out one of those wards, like the piece of paper with the like a prayer or whatever written on it, you know? like the Buddhist. She pulls out one of those and like sticks it, and like it explodes. And this guy pulls out a crystal that like flashes and like melts the zombies or whatever. But in the Japanese version, it's a cross, it's a crucifix that he pulls out, and that's one of the things about this version that I don't love is that you don't have the option to sort of see the Japanese differences in that version of the ROM. Man, alive.
There's a lot of dudes.
It's a lot of dudes. Now I got a sword. I like that I don't swing the sword, I just throw the sword. So yeah, this game does support 3 players, like all good beat 'em ups. Supports at least 2 players, like all good beat 'em ups. Many good beat 'em ups support 4 or more players. Some beat 'em ups are only good because they support, say, 6 players hypothetically, and are otherwise like actually a little boring. But when you got 6 people playing that particular beat 'em up, it's actually like pretty dope. I'm not naming names or anything, but there's definitely a game like that, is all I'm saying. Well, that was obnoxious. So I spend all the time charging up this charge attack, and then when I go to use it, it takes there's frame lag for me to between when I release the button. It's already been laggy enough.
You get knocked out of it, yeah.
It already took long enough for me to get to the point where I could actually let the button go and use it. I don't think I should be victim to additional lag. Oh, but if I overcharge, I get dizzy. Apparently, I don't think I realized that. Nonsense. I definitely let the button go before that dude stabbed me, but again.
You gotta anticipate, man.
Yeah, I guess. One other nice touch this game has is that, because so many arcade games were about showing off, if you play as the Chinese girl, the sound effects that pop out of guys when you hit them, instead of saying smash, they say something in Chinese. Mm-hmm. I assume it's like the Chinese equivalent of smash or pow or whatever, but with her, the character, it changes from the comic book Smash to a similar looking Chinese character, which I think is pretty fun. And I think I was saying before you got here that also each character has food preferences. So while the food heals everybody, certain foods heal certain characters more than other characters.
Right. It depends on how hungry they are.
Well, I think they're always hungry because fighting zombies builds up a hunger. It's
right,
just
right. Yeah, there's a bar. It's just invisible. You can't see it.
Yeah, right.
Hi.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Are you playing Destiny because you don't play other video games at all?
That's not true. I beat Sayonara Wild Hearts today. Thank you.
Oh, nice.
That game's an hour long.
Anthony said it was okay.
I like it a lot.
All right.
It's just a fun little. It strikes me as a phone game that I'm playing on my Switch. If that makes sense.
I mean, it is, isn't it? Isn't that exactly what it is?
Is it a phone game?
There was a big part of the Apple Arcade announcement. That was one of the games. I thought it was iOS only because it was part of the big Apple Arcade debut. But then people were like, "Oh no, it's on Switch." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Then I guess that's exactly what I'm doing then. But yeah, it's fun.
The DDT the fuck out of this fucking mummy.
I played a little bit of Link's Awakening, but not too much.
How is that?
It's Link's Awakening.
But there's some quality of life improvements, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I mean, the sword and shield are dedicated, and boots are dedicated buttons, so you don't have to switch into those all the time.
That I think legit will make that fucking mummy just suplexed me. The fucking mummy just gave me a vertical suplex.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna DDT him for his trouble, son of a bitch. But that's like
That's
one
what
of the
my
things
mummy
that
does every time I talk back to her.
yeah. That's one of the things that actually, like, by the time I put Link's Awakening down and, like, didn't actually finish it, but was, like, more than halfway through it, that was one of the things that kind of, like, just wore me down, was, like, having to constantly switch my equipment. Especially once I had the boots and the feather and the sword and the shield, and it was just, like there are some dungeons where it's like every room you move into, you have to pause the game and switch your equipment,
Yeah.
and I was just like, man, a dedicated sword button would really be the fucking bee's knees in this game.
That never really bothered me because it's a Game Boy. It has 2 buttons. But like, yeah, if you're
Well, right. I mean, I understand the limitations of the system. But even if they, like, I don't know, if they mapped, like, once you get the boots, if they mapped them to select or something, like...
that would just be awkward, though. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just
But
glad.
yeah,
I
no,
mean, what I'm
that's
saying is,
definitely better.
I'm just glad that that's like that's fixed in the. I mean, of course, it looks really fucking charming too. I love the.
Oh yeah, the music's great. There's performance issues for sure. It just basically runs like shit.
Really, first party
so-
Nintendo title. That's actually pretty surprising. Like I expect that with like
I'm told it's better if you play it docked, but I've been playing
Oh.
it in handheld mode,
Okay.
so I don't know. But it might be one of those. But it's primarily when you're switching rooms, which if you're in the overworld is not room based anymore. So it's like that's all the time, kind of. So
Sure.
it's manageable. It's not like so bad that you can't fucking play it. But it's just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. This is kind of shitty.
oh, this is
Same
the
rank
this is the bonus game where I get to throw the zombie as far as I can.
The Ripper Hospital.
What'd you call me?
The Ripper Hospital.
Scream, ice cream, murderer, chainsaw,
Yeah.
Gorgor
Is that
coffee.
Cola?
I think it's. I
Coffee
can't tell if it's
cola, I
cola,
can't.
but it says bloody taste. The girl is saying bloody taste as she drinks out of a severed head. So that's pretty good.
That's something, all right. But yeah, it's good. I mean, Link's Awakening's a great game, so like, it's good. It's just like not a perfect port.
I mean, I would argue that it's not a port at all, but
Well, you know what I mean. Remake, whatever.
It's more of a Merlot.
yes, yeah, yeah. It's it's more of a Moscato. It's a dessert wine, I think, really.
What? I didn't get a purple. Oh, okay, there it is. Ooh,
Oh shit! I'm gonna fucking DDT the Grim Reaper.
that's tight.
I'm gonna beat up this dude made of rocks, and he's apparently gonna bleed profusely every time I kick him, which is fucking great.
Hmm.
Fucking throw your arm at me, asshole.
There's an endgame boss rush happening. Okay.
I believe that's about what we're looking at here, yeah. Now I'm gonna beat up this gun on the front of this helicopter. Keeping in line with the theme of this game, I'm gonna beat up this gun on the front of this helicopter.
That's a haunted gun.
Yeah, the gun is... the
It's
pilot is
actually
a ghost.
thematically- Yeah, it's actually thematically, and actually the bullets are also. So since I missed the beginning, does this have like, are there moves other than kick punch? Is there any kind of like Streets of Rage style?
Yeah, so I can dash and do this kick. I have a standard jump kick, and then I have a down and jump, which is a elbow drop for this guy. I have the charge. move, which is a slide kick, and then I think the second level charge is there's like a leaping knee or something. Then I have my small crowd control, which is both buttons. For this guy, he busts out a holy water, and it creates like a fountain of holy water around him, like that. And then the big crowd control is the special. That's a separate button, and that's the big crowd control is the
business.
Yeah, right. The big crowd control is like the ice storm thing that you've seen me do that costs a bunch of life. So yeah, you've got like I said at the beginning, yeah, like each character has like enough things that it's not like boring, but like not the most fully fleshed out moveset in a game of this kind. Somewhere kind of in the middle. But this dude does elbow drops and DDTs, and he's like, you know, if Peter Cushing was also Bruce Lee, and so, you know, I'm into it. God, the death animations in this game are so good. Like, and the fact that each enemy type has like more than one. Yeah, it's a lot of really gross stuff that I think is pretty fun.
A lot of crumbling.
Yep. Sometimes their heads get kicked off, and sometimes. Oh, see, that one got cut into zigzags and fell apart like a cartoon. Because I threw a sword at him. But yeah, like even the first stage the first stage boss is like a mad scientist, and then Frank. Oh, here he is. I'm fighting him again right now, actually. Like when you beat him, he also like melts into meat chunks. Even though like the first time you fight him, he's ostensibly like not a zombie or anything. He's just a dude, but he still like melts into like a puddle of viscera.
I don't know if you know this, but humans are made of meat too.
Uh-huh. I mean, but if you punch one to death, they usually don't like explode into like meat chunks.
I do work at a hospital,
Typically.
and I just want to let you know that
It has been known to happen.
that has been known to happen.
Okay.
So, they don't.
You don't know how to follow up me talking about how people get
No,
punched.
if they don't melt into viscera, does that mean that they melt into a Mabel instead?
Yes, or a Big
yeah.
Daddy V. Silk pajamas and everything. It's really weird.
Is this a wrestling reference?
Yes.
Maybe.
Okay. I had a feeling.
There was a guy.
Nah, you don't need to
Wrestled-
explain it.
He was
It's a
a big
wrestling
fat.
reference.
He was a big fat guy. He wrestled in a trash bag.
Yeah, he did. He did. He basically wrestled
I like
in a.
this guy. He's my kind of
he
guy.
basically wore a garbage bag. I mean, in his defense, like Shiny Pleather was in the late '90s. I definitely owned.
Shiny Pleather is a really good band name. All right, continue.
I also. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that I didn't own multiple articles of clothing that were made of Shiny Pleather in the late '90s, because I definitely did. But yeah, so originally he was a rapper called Mabel, and he had two partners named Oscar and Mo, and so all together they were called Men on a Mission or Mom. As terrible as that is. And then he came back later as like a henchman of the Undertaker, and they called him Viscera for some reason. And then he came back again.
Like dark.
Right, he's spooky. And then they came back again, and he was Big Daddy V, because then he had like he wore silk pajamas and was like a sexy dude, sort of doing that shtick. Except he was still like a gigantic fat dude, but he was playing off like, you know, he was like a ladies' man thing, and he was Big Daddy V. Yeah, so there you go.
Like that.
All you needed to say was his name, and I was like, all right, I get it.
Yep, yeah.
It's
pretty
wrestling. I don't know if you know this. Not exactly the most subtle of art forms.
much. No, indeed not.
There is a subtle.
Dude, I just fucking elbowed this vampire into the ground and then kicked him in the face while he was struggling to stand up out of being stuck in the ground, because I elbowed him into the ground. This game rules. Okay, but I just respawned like in a grab attack from him, and that's kind of bullshit. But I also DDT'd Dracula to death, so like that's pretty cool. And he just melted into a puddle of goo.
Shouldn't have been eating all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Enough is never enough.
Of the stuff?
Yes.
That's right. Whoa. Hey, I'm dying.
Is that because you ate too much of the stuff?
No, it's because I had the menu open. I was like, oh,
I
I'm.
told you to eat the stuff.
I know, and I didn't. I don't like ice cream. That's not true. I like ice cream.
I was gonna say I know that's not true about you.
Yeah.
Like
Ice cream's good. I mean, that shouldn't be true about like most people. I feel like.
that they don't like ice cream. Yeah, when people
No,
are
that most people do like ice cream. Is what I'm saying.
Right,
I
yeah.
worded that poorly.
right. Well, I was saying people who don't like ice cream get a side eye from me. Like I'm always like, it's like when they say like they don't like.
They're lactose intolerant, Joe.
My old
there's
roommate is lactose
lactose-free.
intolerant.
Are you intolerant of the lactose intolerant?
My old roommate is lactose intolerant, and he loves the shit out of some ice cream. So I don't really know that has anything to do with anything. He just
They
takes
don't
like
that ice cream gives them diarrhea.
well, he takes
You can take Lactaid,
right. He
or
takes
you can
Lactaid,
get
and then he eats ice
lactose-free.
cream.
Like, there's literally like almond milk,
Yeah,
ice cream, and shit like
Yeah,
that.
that's
And honestly,
gross,
it's
though.
not
You may as
bad.
well just lick a garbage can instead.
That's not true.
that is definitely the same thing.
See, Joe knows. No, it's not. It's fine. It's totally fine. I've been buying some almond milk based yogurt.
Almond milk is better than soy milk for
Pretty damn good,
sure.
actually. It doesn't
Depends
really
on what you're using it for.
doesn't really taste that much like yogurt, but it's
Right. I'm not sure that's true, Alex. Again, the same. You know, my best friend, my old roommate, is lactose intolerant. So, like one time, you know, I remember like having cereal with his soy milk because we didn't have any regular
Yeah.
milk, and I was like, "How do
'Cause
you
you
drink
fucked
this
up.
shit?" Yeah, I mean, clearly I did.
No, dude, fucking rice milk. I'm telling you.
This was
That's the
before
one.
that was like much of a thing. Coloring Trout
Yeah, maybe.
13 says this looks nifty. Fancy Lad versus Monsters. That man is an homage to Peter Cushing, and I would hope you would show the proper respect. Oh no, it's Michael J. Fox.
did
Is he
say
gonna turn in?
Fancy Lad.
That's true.
Like, I don't know what you want, Joe.
I mean, I guess Peter Cushing was pretty fancy. Now that you mention
I
it.
would also say that Fancy Lad versus Monsters is an adequate descriptor of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Season 1, Phantom Blood. So just throwing that out there.
Okay. I haven't
Like
seen.
the vampire. You don't need 2 seasons. It's part 1 is 9 episodes, and it's, if you're watching the TV show, and it's like the worst part of JoJo.
just
Is it really?
Start like I did with the whatever I started with.
Part 3,
Felt
baby.
good for me.
It's
What happened
it's
to part
not bad.
2
It's
or
just-
season
it's
2
just-
or whatever?
Part 2 is good. Part 2 is good as hell.
Oh no, what did I? Oh no, I started with 3, right?
No, just kill the boss. You guys are dumb.
I'm working on it, dude.
Not
I am
you.
King Zarutz, ruler of beasts.
Oh, wow.
I will
He has
turn
no
this world
health
into a
left.
kingdom for the dead. Ha ha ha. Go on back to the Halloween party. It's house cleaning time.
Oh,
So
look
yeah,
at
this is like an extra dimensional god of death who put himself into like a super like metal album cover looking robot. Is basically
Ooh, legendary.
This
What
is
I
our
got.
Alex
antagonist.
just turned into a cat.
So I discovered that one of my friends from nursing school, and like who I now like am a coworker with, whenever she sings a guitar part in a song, she makes like a meow noise.
Yeah.
She says
okay.
meow 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 instead.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what the guitar sounds like to her, and
Yeah.
it's really good. I like it a lot. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
okay.
There. That's it. Hey,
Hey yeah.
did I get another subjunctive? All right, that's fine.
Are there also objuntives?
No.
Okay.
Injunctive.
Subjunctive. It's a submachine gun.
Is there a domjunctive?
No. There's an adhortative, which is very good. I don't know what any of these words mean, honestly. Quick draw multi-kill clip or outlaw multi-kill clip? The choice is clear.
The choice is clear.
I did stumble
Crystal
on that word
clear
a little
Pepsi.
bit. $9.44. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there, Eric.
Is it-
I did one of the missions last night.
Oh, nice.
So I'm getting to the point where I can start to get there.
You should jump an Iron Banner and get annihilated because you're too low level for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Oh, that's bogus. That should have hit him.
Hurry up and kill this robot devil.
Working on it.
Oh, that's awful. Bye.
Fine, bye,
See ya.
dick.
Not you. The piece of gear I just picked up. I'm like,
What
why
the
would I ever...
That was some fucking... Whoa. That is nonsense.
Joe turned into Joey for a minute there.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Something blossom. Whoa.
That fire beam is rough.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. The fucking DDT this death robot. Boom. Put him down with the DDT. Jake Roberts, Vampire Hunter. Monster Hunter.
That's a different game. You'd have to kill him like 8 times to get anywhere if that's what... if that's the game you were playing. What should I do? Should I do Nightmare Hunts? Or... oh, I should just go do that shit on IO. That's what I'll do.
I don't even know if I'm like still damaging this thing, if I'm just supposed to be avoiding it, like
Yeah, is this
I don't remember. I
You
really
don't
don't. Yeah. Oh, it looks like I killed it, so I guess I was doing damage to it, or it was a time thing and I still don't know actually.
Let's not worry about it, huh? You
Yeah.
beat
Yeah,
it.
you won. That's all that matters.
That's right.
You won't be making no more Draculas.
They've all been destroyed. Our heroes saved us.
Hey.
Well, I guess it's time to head back home. Yeah, me too. Thanks for everything. The Beef Chief.
Y Signal says, "Good job, fancy lad." Well, thank you.
Isn't there a brand of snack cakes that's like Fancy Lad? Wait, that's Fallout. That's what that
Probably.
is.
Fallout,
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh man. A couple more days and that new not quite Fallout game is out.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
didn't it get leaked on? Wasn't there a big to do because it like a pre-release
What's that?
build leaked to the dark web or the Pirate Bay or whatever the hell?
Oh, I went the wrong way. I'm gonna get my full
Anyways.
Dream Bane armor set before I can do this mission.
Y Signal says the name's Christopher Pal. Yeah, this is full of '90s tood and dialogue that represents
that's a
that.
weird last name.
Yeah.
Christopher Powell.
Yep.
Christopher, you're up to his family. Wait.
Christopher Peggy 18.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Right. So that was Night Slashers. It's pretty fun. It's probably worth $8 if you like beat 'em ups and horror movies. And it's on the Switch, so it's portable.
Hey.
And it's got some really great death
Does
animations.
it have usable online?
I don't think that's even an option, honestly.
Okay.
Given that
Well,
they
if it's
couldn't
on
be
Switch-
bothered to do like
Look, man,
yeah, no, I
it's
don't.
not an unreasonable question.
It's no, it's not. It's not an unreasonable question. Yeah, no, there's no option for
Okay.
online. Just too bad.
It'd
But
be nice if there was, but
yeah, right. But we'll be back tomorrow with something else, I guess. I don't know what that's going to be, but someone will be back with something tomorrow, and we'll see you then. Good night,
It'll
everybody.
be spooky.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
Nah.
But it won't be dookie.
No, that's a different month.
Good night, everybody.